Hey, what's up? I was recently watching the Dave Rubin, and he had an interview with Candace Owens, who I really appreciate. Appreciate her movement, but I do have a couple questions I want to pose to you that some points that I am against. So here's a letter that I wrote to you, Candace Owens, if you see this. Uh, Dear Candace Owens, first off, I applaud your initiative and your courage to go against the grain to express yourself freely, despite some of what you believe being contrarian to what the left tries to force as the black community. Parentheses, as if, all we think is all the same things and all groups of blacks are, one homogenized group that can't really think for ourselves. So I generally do respect your will to break free and your movement that holds a strong virtue for the search for the truth. And it's because I sincerely respect your plight, which is why I must pose this open question to you in regards of some things that you said in your interview with Dave Rubin. And that's that I found very disconcerting, and what I found to be, some glaring logical inconsistencies with your otherwise sound points. And in your difference of opinion with Kaepernick, for instance, and those who choose to kneel during the anthem and protest, and you even tried to conflate this with reparations, which I don't know where you were going with that. That seemed very left field. That had nothing to do with it at all. And you attempt to cast them as anti-American, yet whenever terms like Americanism and un-Americanism or anti-Americanism are thrown around, they're used to divide and to demagogue, as to say, this is the in group, and those of you who don't believe as we do, those are the outsiders whom we should judge as like the castaways or the deplorables, or in whichever way that's done. And so I find this very inconsistent with your self-reliance of speaking what you believe and thinking differently despite the pressures of conformity, because you go on to detract from these protesters by saying blacks being mistreated and killed by cops isn't a problem, by bringing up other problems in black communities, such as black on black crime, as if any one movement or protest can suddenly solve all black problems. I've seen this type of criticism with like the Black Panther movie. It's like whenever there's obviously the Black Panther movie isn't gonna solve like black problems. It's just like people just can't allow themselves to be happy for anything. It's like just let this take place for this and that for that, But anyway, to make a quick analogy on this here with black, being shot by the police, despite what percentage it is statistically, never mind the lives that were lost. This is like, to put this analogous here, it's like saying mass shootings isn't a problem in our country because most gun deaths in the country are actually suicide. Well, yeah, that's certainly true, but this is still hugely invalid, both logically and emotionally, because and I don't think you meant to do this, but it does make light of the people who do suffer from these tragedies. And these issues that when you do this, it becomes the same identity politics that the left's egregiously been doing for a while, and hijacking these tragedies, and what's worse, they do it with these whole ideological movements, into this political us versus them mentality. It's wrong. And so basically, my question on this matter, to boil this all down for you, when you seem to be clearly contemptuous toward Kaepernick and those who support that protest, and deeming them as anti-American, How do you in fact propose to lead or guide these people, as you suggest later in your interview, when they're obviously the outsiders of your perspective of Americanism, So that's my question to you, Candace Owens, and I hope you respond. If not, I won't take it personally. But come on, let's open up a dialogue about this. All right, so that's my piece on that. Love and light.